welcome to the Kenai Community Library for our first annual Anti-Romance book advisory. With us today is Miss Hannah, and Miss Bethany will be joining us later to talk about some of the books that we consider are not romances. They're great books, but they're not a romance. Now, you probably know what a romance book is. It's a novel that has a central love story, an emotionally satisfying and optimistic ending, because everybody loves happily ever after. Not everybody likes happily ever after. So an anti-romance is what we're going to talk about today. They might not be the satires that you think they might be, but they're going to be some pretty interesting books. So Hannah, what do you have picked out for us today?
Now, I can't speak to the satisfyingness of the endings of some of these because I don't want to give any spoilers away, but I do have a couple that are excellent books and don't have any romance. Here we are with The Hobbit, of course, classic. Got some friends going on an adventure. We've got this one, which is interesting. It's a story of an older author who hires a biographer to tell her life story. And it kind of gets into the realm of folklore. That's an interesting one. We've also got The Martian, of course. Guy stranded on Mars and is trying to survive despite equipment malfunctions and lots of difficulties there. So those are the ones I've got picked out for today. How about you?
Those are some awesome picks. My picks today are The Hunt for Red October by Tom Clancy. And while you have to say that maybe the person did what they did because of love and because of the failure of love, but at the same time, it's a really well-written book that just grips you page to page to page, and you cannot put it down. So The Hunt for Red October is one of my picks. And then Agatha Christie, Murder on the Orient Express. And I've also read her And Then There Were None. And there's really no romance in there. They're mysteries. You got to figure out who did it. So the love story isn't really part of it. So that's kind of cool. My next book is The Great Gatsby. I know this copy of ours is kind of plain, but The Great Gatsby is actually probably the best anti-romance that we have. He tries to win his girl back, and through a series of kind of unfortunate events, he doesn't. And it's kind of an odd book. It leaves you with a weird taste at the end, but I really think that everybody should read it. Then my last book I have is The Help. We've got 2 copies here, both our large print and our audio book. And kind of, like the movie, it's based on how the South was in the 50s and early 60s. And it really brings a lot of the kind of heartache and struggle that people went through to actually make their lives and to be a human being. And, it's really a good book, another page turner. All the ones that I recommend, and I think all the ones that Hannah recommend, they're page turners. There's no romance. Romance is not the central theme, but they're all really, really good books. Now, let's bring in Miss Bethany to talk about her favorite anti-romance. Okay, Miss Bethany, tell us about your favorite anti-romance book.
Well, I'm really a good action-adventure kind of fan, and so one of my big picks is definitely going to be the story of Owen, Dragon Slayer of Trojanheim. And a lot of times you think of Dragon Slayers and you think that there's going to be some sort of girl love interest in there, and there is. I mean, he does get together with someone, but not with who you think. The main narrator of this story is a girl named Simon, and she actually is a bard. And so she's following him around, documenting his story, but they're just friends, and they're just friends through the whole book. And so Owen he meets people, he dates for a little bit, he goes on adventures and dragon slaying, but it's not actually all about that. It's just about their friendship and enjoying each other's company and kind of rooting for each other and working together. So I really liked that as far as my Anti-Valentine's Day read, just because, sometimes it's good to just have a good friend. And that's why I picked that one. It's also a young adult book, which is kind of nice to throw those out there.
That's awesome. Thank you, Bethany.
Yeah.
All these books are available for checkout at the Kenai Community Library. You can place a hold on them, pick them up through curbside service, or you can come into the library during our business hours and check them out. We hope that you guys enjoy some good reading on this Valentine's Day, and don't always read a romance.